Hey! Caught me doing some firewood. So, firewood is essential for what we do because we burn 100% of our heat comes from burning firewood throughout the winter. We have a wood stove in our house and we have zero backup heating source. So we kind of force ourselves to save money and make use of wood. But because if we don't put wood in the fire, then we freeze. So we haven't frozen yet. It's been about over a decade we've been doing this, so it's worked out pretty good. I usually just drive with the pickup truck and fill it up with wood, but today I just wanted a little more exercise, so I took a little tote, just carried a tote worth of wood, and I'm just actually bringing that up to my shed because I have a separate shed that I do some work in that I also have a wood stove in too. So I built this wood shed about a couple, 3-4 years ago, I guess. And the shed is pretty good size. I can store a lot of wood in here. What I have for storage here is about, I could burn wood for 2 years, keep the house warm for 2 years with this stuff. Obviously I'm dipping out of these. I had all 3 of these bays filled this fall, and pulling wood out from these 2 because they were the driest wood that we had, and it's separated out into some different types of wood. So first off, we have a couple of types of wood here in the Northeast. It's separated into hardwood and softwood, and the vast majority of people that heat their homes with wood are going to be using hardwood. Hardwood is more dense wood that's from species that are slower growing and provide a much denser, tighter grained wood, and because of that you get a lot more heat, a lot more BTUs, which is a unit of heat, out of one piece of wood. And so my hardwood is over there, but the hardwood, you got to pay for it. Usually, I mean, you could cut it if you had hardwood species on your land. For me, I don't have any hardwood on my land. I have primarily softwood, and so I don't only burn hardwood because it does cost me quite a little bit of money because I got to buy it in and I got to cut it and split it and all that. This behind me is softwood, and this is species that are faster growing. The wood is less dense, and so you don't get as much heat out of them, but they still do a pretty good job warming the house when the temperatures outside are not that cold. And so most of this is going to be balsam fir, a little bit of white spruce, and some quaking aspen. We just call it spruce, fir, and popple. And this stuff works good in the shoulder seasons and during the little warm spells we get. So what I do is when I'm out cutting for timber to sell, a lot of times I'll have something that has just a little bit of rot in it. For instance, this piece of fir, the center of it has a little bit of that dark, you notice that dark on the inside of it? That is starting to rot. And the mill doesn't like to pay for that because it doesn't make very good lumber. However, it makes great material to burn to keep us warm. So when I have rot, a little bit of rot, I cut that up into firewood. The tops where the diameter gets a lot smaller, I will cut those tops and use them for firewood. Like a sawmill is not going to buy a round piece of wood that diameter. That's off the top of one of the trees that I harvested, but it burns great. Can't make a 2x4 out of it, but it burns great. So that's the softwood when it's 20 degrees to 30 degrees outside. This stuff does a great job keeping our house warm. Other times, like right now, it's about 0 degrees, and in the shed I'll still burn the softwood just because it's cheap and I'm just playing around in the shed. But in the house we're burning hardwood. This is the primo stuff. So this is gonna be just feeling it. It's twice or more as heavy as the stuff over there. The species here are birch, beech, maple, a couple different types of birch, a couple different types of maple, and a little bit of ash, and maybe 1 or 2 other species mixed in occasionally, but that's the bulk of it. This stuff, it does a good job keeping things warm. If you actually measure units of heat, I looked this up online before, and I can't recall exactly how they come up with the unit, but whatever the unit is that they're measuring in terms of how much heat you get out of a piece of wood or out of a cord of wood, any unit of wood, the units for balsam fir are about 12 to 14, and the units for a sugar maple are about 24 to 26. So just on a relative basis, you can see you almost get twice as much heat out of one of these pieces of wood as you do out of that. It can burn, it burns hotter, it lasts much longer. The coals, it leaves a really good bed of coals. It's just overall, this is the way to go if you got a choice. If you don't get a choice, the softwood works fine. You just need more of it. You might need a bigger stove, whatever. But anyway, the reason you got to have a woodshed here is because it rains all spring, summer, fall. It rains too much to really get wood good and dry on its own. This wood all has to be seasoned approximately one summer. If you get it all cut into 16, 18-inch lengths and split up and get it drying and get it under cover, if it's set out in the rain all summer, it's probably not going to be ready to burn in the fall. You could burn it, but you're going to have problems. You're going to have wet wood that doesn't burn as good. You might have creosote in your chimney, got a chimney fire or something. But this stuff, you know, if I get this shed filled up this spring and the stuff's drying all summer, be good to go for next winter. So what I do is I try to rotate sometimes. Like I'll have, like this is the most recent wood that I've put in. So that is going to be burned next year. This stuff was a little older, so that's burned now. Softwood's just going to be a constant rotation because it dries quicker anyway. But I'm going to have this empty by this summer. I'm going to fill it up with fresh wood, and then next year I'm going to start by burning that drier wood first. So yeah, just a little bit of a process on how we do it. And we burn. We start about October sometime when it starts to get cold outside, early October. And we got a wood fire that does not stop burning from, you know, sometime in November you get to where you have to have it going all the time, all the way through till about mid to late April, sometimes into May, and we'll have occasional fires in June. So yeah, that's the process. It's a little bit of work, but it's not that bad. It keeps you busy. It's nice to heat with wood. It's really affordable. We've saved, I don't know how many thousands of dollars we've saved in the last decade by not burning oil. And the wood is growing all around us. I mean, a lot of it's on our own land, and it otherwise wouldn't have a very great use, and we can use it to heat our homes. So it's pretty cool.